Well, hello, people. This is Harsha Attali, currently doing my second semester in Information Science in the UNT. Today, I'm going to present about the Zomato restaurant's data analysis for my midterm evaluation. Zomato restaurant's data analysis is one of the instance in the datasets. It's one of the most effective forms of the research for foodies who want to try the finest wild cuisine in their budget in every area of the country. So this work is mostly for just trying to find the premium and the quality restaurants in the various parts of the world for the cuisines. And coming to the interaction, so the study also addresses the needs of the people who wanting to obtain the best cuisine in the world and the serves the cuisine with the highest number of restaurants in the country. The study focuses on the dataset collected from the Zomato restaurants. It has the restaurant ID, location, name, city, locality, and cuisines. It also has the two people, total cost of two, and the votes of the ratings and the restaurant along with the restaurant establishment date. So here are some list of my goals I have found out that, and now I'm going to uh, list this all the goals in my data analysis in the next few slides. So, on what day of the year did Hoover and Holly Ahmedad start? On what day of the week the restaurant named Le Brevin and Le Marian opened? On what day of the restaurant, on what date of the restaurant Veg Gulati celebrates its anniversary? So, how many days passed between the first and last restaurant established? What can you infer between the country and the average cost of the two? What is the total sum of the average of two? Which country has the max average cost for two according to their currency? Which country has the highest and least number of restaurants? And mention the number. In what rating range does the most reviews lie in aggregate and votes of the restaurant? Does Barbecue Nation, UAE, and India have the table booking? Which restaurant provides the Chinese cuisine in the Philippines? Which restaurant has the highest number of votes? And the last but the least, in which cities are the first and last restaurant established? So these are my list of goals, and I have answered all the goals according to their. I mean, these line wise I have what I've shown here. So all of the goals are explained later. So the dataset is selected from the data analysis in the Zomato restaurants. So the set contains 9518 columns and 19 rows. So the data source is collected from the Kaggle.com, collected by the Shruti by the Zomato restaurants dataset. And I have the list of dataset variables where I'm going to explain those now. So restaurant ID has a unique code for that restaurant around the globe. So each restaurant has a unique identity. So restaurant name, so the name of the restaurant, and the restaurant code. The code country has the restaurant where it is located in the country and all. So city, which I mean, where is the located country restaurant is located. So address, what is the address of the restaurant? And the locality, location of the city, and the cuisines offered by the restaurant. So what are the different kinds of cuisines offering with the restaurant? And average cost for two. So people who cost for two have the different currencies have the average cost, and the currency of the each country, and the table booking has yes or no, and online delivery yes or no, and delivering yes or no. So switching on the menu yes or no. So I have deleted this, and price range, the range of the price food, aggregate rating out of 5, so 0 to 5. Rating color depends on the average rating color. So rating text is based on the rating, and the last and the most important thing on the votes, number of votes cast by the people. Data cleaning. I used the trim function of the data collection to delete the extra spaces from the text, allowing just one space to be clear between the words at the beginning or in the end of the sentence without any space characters. The data is clear in the zero or not available and null data. All the have been removed in the data range. I have removed longitudes, latitudes, and locality variables because they all come under and refer to the one attribute called locality. So I have removed those. And I have deleted the Turkish information because the characters are not in English and we cannot actually identify when the data is scanned. So to make menu research easier for an easier image, I inserted a column called country beside the country code so that we can actually get a better picture in that. And I have inserted date column in the data set to find the restaurant start date using the date feature. Now, data analysis. Uh, we have used my interquartile range IQR for finding the mid-range of the odds for the entire data base between the upper and the lower quartiles. So I'm going to explain what exactly is IQR is. So interquartile range, often called as IQR, and it is the way to measure the spread of the middle 50% of the data set. So I have a lot of data set, I mean, a lot of options in this. So 905.8, I guess. So out of those, the only 50% of the data set is calculated, and it is the difference between the first quartile Q1 and the third quartile Q3 of the data set. The quartiles are simply the values that split up the data set into the four equal parts. So I have used this formula here where we can see the 958. Yeah, the total 958 quartile 3 minus quartile 951. So I got this answer called 125. Next. So with the help of VLOOKUP for the restaurant named Vikings, we can find the exact votes given for the Vikings restaurant. So I have used VLOOKUP because the VLOOKUP function performs the vertical lookup by searching for a value in the first column and uh, of the table and returning the value in the same row, the index number of the position. So the Vikings restaurant has they're here in the inserted in the screenshot, and these are the ratings. I mean, votes. So I have used this. Now I have used the match function to find the position of the particular restaurant called OMA. Yes, I have did this. So what exactly the match function does is the match function searches the specified item in the range of the cell and then returns the relative position of the item in the range. So the OMA is where exactly I want to match, where is exactly it is. So I have used this formula and I have found out that is it. And yeah, I use the restaurant's descriptive vote statistics within this in the given the considered details of the votes. So we here we can see the votes of the descriptive statistics. We can find that in the data tab, and we have to go into the data data statistics, and we can get all this data with one click. So it is very simple and very reasonable to be, and very important to our data set. So we can find the count, sum, maximum, minimum values, and the sample values, standard deviation values, median. All these values are given. The next one, to get the subtotal in a chart or a spreadsheet, we should be using the subtotal function. So the subtotal has the ability to use a variety of subtotaling functions, including the average, count, max, and the others. So here, the subtotals of the countries for average cost of 2, and I have added the other one for the better example called the price range. So these are the country codes total. So country codes have been given in my data set called country name also is given there. So this country has the average cost of this much of subtotal and price range is this much. So all of these are calculated here. I can actually show in my this thing. Yeah, count city. Keyword example. Wait a second. So Yeah, here is it. So I have found this from my data set, from this data set subtotals. So these are my codes, country codes. Yeah, back to my normal. Okay, next, these all are my date functions. So I have used these date functions here. So the first one, according to this, I understood that Hubert Holi Ahmedabad started it on 2/11th day of the year. So I have used this method, the day of the year feature here, the particular day of the year, depending on the specified year. So I have used this formula to get the day in the year of a particular restaurant when it gets started. So I have discovered this restaurant lab Delivery Day and Le Meridian open on Wednesday. So I have used the day in a week function to get a particular day in a week with a formula called this one and to decode the number. So if I use this actual formula here, we can actually get the number. But how can I even get to know what day it is? So I have used this text. I have number to text. So decode to this thing. So I have used this formula so that this for changes to Wednesday. So I found out that in this. So the restaurant Vegability celebrates its anniversary on 20th March 2008. And I have used the feature date function to get the feature date of the entire date of by using this formula. So for instance, for this reason, I have given 365 days because it is just like an year. So I just created just like an anniversary. So I can actually give for 100 days, 200 days, but it doesn't make sense. So I just gave 365 days of the feature date of this. Then I got that. So 959, I'm sorry, 9516 days are passed between the first and last restaurant established. So those many days have been passed actually. We may infer that India and Indonesia has the major role playing in adding the data collection. By contrasting the total expenses of two, and these two countries have the largest number of restaurants. As we can see in the Indonesia and the India, the average cost of two, and here is created in the chat. So India is having the maximum number of oats, Indonesia, this is the oats column, and yeah, the next one, the grand total of the sum average of the two is 11450,777. So this is the grand total of sum of two, and these are the currencies. And Indonesia has the max average cost of two according to their currency. So Indonesia is having the first standard big one, so according to their currency for the max average cost. And then India is having with 8652 has the highest number of restaurants. As we can see here, India is having the 8,652 and the Canada is having the least one of count of city in number of restaurants established. I can show in my chat too. Sorry, yeah, here is it. Yeah, and we can actually click and select where we can get the currencies of the dollar thing, and I have created this tool and we can actually select the Indian rupees, so it will show the grand total of that and the Indian total rupees. Okay, back to normal. The most reviews lie in the scatter plot between 3.5 to 4.7 range approximately. As we can see here, the 3.5 to 4.7 range have the approximate lie range. So this is it. And the pie chart and the bar chart of the countries and votes. So here are my votes of the India. This is a yellowish. This has the highest number, and the Canada has the least. As we can actually see here, it is the least thing. And in this, it is very clear in the bar chart. So Canada is having the four among the least, and India is having 8652 number of oats. So I have initially I have told in the starting of these are the left ones. So barbecue nation UAE does not have the table booking, whereas the barbecue nation India has the table booking. I found out that in my data set, and then Thai Fung is the only restaurant that provides the Chinese cuisines in the Philippines. So this is the only restaurant I have found out that too, and the third in which the Bangalore has the highest number of votes. The highest number of votes, I have calculated that, and accordingly, the first restaurant established in Mackay City and the last restaurant established in Colombo. So I have found out this accordingly using the filter option. So the first restaurant having this is the first restaurant established date, and this is the latest with the new restaurant. And then the conclusion. I discovered India has the largest number of restaurants and the lowest to the highest number of votes within that. And the data said India has the delivery option. I have found out that actually. It's an interesting thing, and that New Delhi is the only city with the highest number of restaurant count. That is actually cool, right? So in India, in New Delhi is having the highest number of city, I mean, largest highest number of restaurants in that. So marketing can be done will be achieved within the data collection so that the company will continue to grow in locations where the restaurants are less frequent. So accordingly, we can actually do the marketing stuff. This will useful for the organization because um, as we can see here, New Delhi having the city of highest number of restaurants. So they can actually concentrate less in that city or something where else they can actually look at the least number of, as we can see the previous things, Canada is having the least number of restaurants. So they can actually do marketing there. So like that, we can actually help this, this data analysis is helpful for that organizations. Thank you. Have a nice day, people.